Wow, here we are. It is just over the halfway mark of season 2. And today, what we are going to chat to is about how to handle your holidays with intuitive eating. As a reminder, who am I? I'm Denise and I'm from Foodie Nutrition. And my passion is to help women to grow to be the very best versions of themselves, to flip our language and our thought process from looking after our health being measured by our appearance to looking after our health from the inside out, doing things like showing up for yourself every single day, growing in self-belief and in confidence that you do know how to eat and how to look after yourself, and consistently learning how to consistently take action to look after your health goals or to achieve your health goals with ease and confidence. Quite often, so many people I work with are stuck in their lives. They're feeling overwhelmed, their sleep is off, they have poor concentration, can't relax, maybe even, digestion is poor, they're feeling a little bit depressed at times, shutting down. One of the areas of work that they haven't really thought about is looking at this whole area of getting their body into an optimal state by looking after the kinds of thoughts that they're inputting into their mind so that they can access reason and they can access their emotions and cope with their emotions, moving from feeling calm and not overly tired, being aware and alert, but not anxious, being engaged with all things, living to eat, not eating to live, dropping the preoccupation with the body, the weight, the food, and becoming more connected with doing things that support you to live and to make your choices that are healthful in a productive way, not in a way that allows you to re-emphasize that persistent and nagging thought that you need to change your body or your body needs to be healthy at a different size when the reality is it could be just healthy as it is. Let's come back a little bit and have a little bit of a think to what's a holiday. And a definition about a holiday is that it is a period of time when you relax and enjoy yourself away from your home. Originally, holidays started off as a spiritual holiday, a spiritual period of time that you rest and relaxed. And I suppose in our more modern day, we would think of it as a time off work, maybe study, an activity for rest, recreation, and engaging with other parts of us, engaging with fun, maybe connecting with different cultures, exploring the world, exploring other humans. And as you listen through to this podcast, I really just want you to remind yourself and just pause for a moment just now and think, what are the benefits of holidays for me? What do I get out of them? What does it bring to me? As you listen through, I want to remind you of what wellness is. Wellness is defined by many aspects. It's defined by the environment that we live in. It's defined by our social connection. It's defined by our financial status, our spirituality, our job, how our physical body is, our intellect, and our emotional state. When I see people fixated just on their diet and on their exercise, it does really, I suppose, break my heart and reminds myself of an earlier version of me who thought that was the best way to go about things. There's a phrase, 10% is good enough. And I wish I could share with so many people that the consistency really would come if you could learn to believe that giving 10% to looking after each of these elements in your life. One, to reflecting on them and seeing where you're at and what does my life kind of feel like in that area. Two, spending some time being curious about what you could change and then what you'd like to change. And three, then once you're aligned on those two things, become committed to the actions and trust that by doing this, it's going to bring you to that feeling of wellness. If you're not happy where you are, if you are saying this isn't me, and you've been trying to lose weight your whole life, don't do it again, because there is another approach, but it does involve you starting to think with your mind and not with some of the conditioning that you've been led to believe. that you can't be healthy if you are not meeting up to the beauty standards and ideals that have been set out by a culture. And that's what it is a culture. So you have and you deserve every opportunity to feel good, to feel happy, to be content in yourself. And you have every right to have new information that's going to guide you to do that. So how do you care for that person? How do you care for the person that really wants your help inside you? How do you mind that person? Well, there's things that you can do. You engage in self-kindness and self-love practices. Yes, shine a light on your own amazingness. And if your head's screaming and going, I'm doing that anyway, but I'm just too lazy, then you're not shining the light. Find the movement that you love and that you enjoy, because when you do what you enjoy, then you're going to do more of it naturally and instinctively. Get connected with other communities. Doesn't have to be go out there and go and get involved. If your workplace community isn't the one that you love, there's other communities that you can join that's going to bring you the need or the joy that you'll feel of that human connection. Have loads of time playing. Fun, so much fun. I wish I could write that on the prescription list for everyone. Get more fun in your life. Self-love and fun are like the most underrated pieces of work that you can do on yourself. Rest, not sleep. And that's really, really key. We can hear all about the sleep hygiene, and looking after your sleep is really important, but rest is so, so important. Getting time outside. Food is part of that story. But all of these things, 10% to doing a little bit more in each of these sections of your life or each of these factors, is what's going to allow you to feel healthy in your body as it is. And your body may change. It may change in lots of ways. But when you trust and you believe in that, the world is your oyster, as we say. I wanted you to think a while back about what were holidays meant to be for you, or what the benefits that you get. And now I want you to think about this. What kind of benefit do you think, if you were talking to your friend, would they get out of a holiday if they spend 6 weeks lambasting and criticizing their body and telling it that it needs to get ready to go on holidays, i.e. it needs to shrink? What kind of benefit does it get if the rebellious eater inside of you spends the whole time that you're restricting before you're on holidays waiting and watching for that moment that you're going to slip, and then takes hold so that you find yourself out of control and eating mindlessly? What kind of benefit do you get if you spend subconsciously, maybe consciously, your holiday saying the words or hearing the words being said to yourself that you're overdoing it now and you're going to pay for this when you get back home? Typically, what kind of benefit are you going to get if you constantly are so afraid of weight gain and so afraid of eating that you, a lot of the time, eat beyond your fullness because you're so disconnected with eating and you're so disconnected with that self-love piece, so that self-respect, that self-care? What kind of thoughts do you think when you think about this holiday? I'm hoping that you're thinking and understanding what I'm trying to say. The kind of thoughts that you're going to be having are not beneficial for your health. What we don't see is that the damage that these thoughts are doing all the time might be the reason that our skin is flaring up when we've got psoriasis, might be the reason that our cholesterol is higher because we're so stressed all the time, might be the reason that we're having digestive dysfunction. These thoughts can impact how our body functions. And you know that when you get that sinking feeling in your stomach as I say this, and you'll hear it deep down, deep down, you'll hear, actually, yeah, it doesn't make me feel good when I think those thoughts. So we're here to think about things much differently. What is the holiday that you would like to have? What do you need to put into that? What do you want to come away with? And know and understand for you that this will bring you joy, that you will be able to think back on it for a couple of weeks, a couple of months when you get home. It's like people say to me, how do I bring that holiday feeling home? Bring that holiday feeling home by going on holiday and being all in. Being all in to do the things that you want to do. If you want to go hike a mountain, go hike a mountain. But if you want to go and sit by the sea, go and sit by the sea. If you want to go into a forest and sit in a hammock, you do that. If you want to rest, go for it. If you want to have time out to relax and write in your journals, go for it. Make your holiday yours, but don't make it about your body. those thoughts that you've been having, I want to remind you about this old sentence that I use, and you know this phrase if you've been listening to me for a while. Thoughts create feelings, and in turn, the actions will follow and create the reality of what we live in. So if you are thinking thoughts that are unproductive and unhelpful and unkind, the feelings will then follow to be the same. So if you think the thought, I am going to go on a diet for 6 weeks before I go on holidays, I'm going to lose all the weight, and then I'm going to be happy in my bikini. Those feelings create anxiety within the feelings that coming from that thought create anxiety within you, because your subconscious brain might be saying, well, actually, you've done that lots of times before and it's never worked because you still haven't felt enough or good enough in the bikini once you've gone on the diet. What kind of actions does that create? Well, it may take action that you're going to do the all or nothing. You're going to restrict for a couple of days until the one moment that you fall off the wagon, your brain goes, okay, here, I got you now. This is the one. We're going to jump in. You're going to take action like maybe overdo it in the gym and then end up being so exhausted that you're neither performing in the gym and getting injury, or you're finding that your work performance is off and you're not really looking forward to your holiday. And does that create the reality of the idyllic notion that you've put out in your mind that this thought, if I go on this restrictive diet and I lose all the weight, when I go on my holidays, I'm going to feel great? Does that create that reality? More often than not, we end up not getting on that holiday in the body that we want because it was never really about the body. So we have to look at what kind of thoughts are being offered by our mind and how much compassion we can give to ourselves. It makes sense. It makes sense that you think this is the right way to do this because you have not heard enough people like me and enough people, research being shared with you about how it's not your body. I've just finished listening to or reading the piece about Pierce Brosnan and the comments that he's been making about really nasty and difficult comments being made about his wife. It is not about your body. Emma Thompson is talking about her body, the worst regret that she has, and the notion that we have is that standard. The biggest waste of female resource is spending time trying to make our body match up to an ideal standard. I get it. I get it. This is what it makes sense that your thoughts think this is what you have to do. But you are far more clever and far more powerful than this. You can decide and think, is this thought helping me? Has it ever helped me? And do I want to do it differently? And the biggest thing you have in your toolbox to do it differently is to catch that thought and say, that's not a kind one. And today, brain, we're not doing it that way. We are going to look at how I can be kind enough to myself so that I get a benefit, the real benefit that I want from my holiday, which I deserve. As a human on this earth, I deserve to be able to take time out from my busy life to replenish my health bank, to stock it up with fun, with pleasure, with joy, with sleep, with food that I enjoy, to stock it up with all those things so I can come back and I can get about living my life. I can bring my body back to more of that optimal state and I can feel more comfortable in myself so that I have the ability to respond to the challenges that I'm going to have all the other days of my life when I live in my real world, because we don't live in a fantasy world. That I have the ability to self-regulate when I'm challenged by things going on around me and not blame my body for all the bad things that are happening in my life, so that I am less easily triggered and I am more resourced so that I know I can respond to situations, so I can be there for myself, I can show up. And this comes from building confidence in you, knowing that you can change your thoughts. You can do it. I've done it. My clients have done it. You can change your thoughts and you can create a different reality when you understand how to manage those thoughts along with your emotions, to feel your emotions. And if you want to understand about emotions and how they're driving what you're doing and what you're thinking and what you're eating, and how you can flip that process so that you begin to understand your emotions and change the narrative and change your thoughts and change your direction in your life, then come on the workshop with me and Nicola Connolly Byrne, which we are running on the 22nd of July in the Village Hotel in Bettystown. We are going to dig deep into this and help you to understand that you can accept yourself as you are in the body that you're in, and you can also work on supporting your health by adopting health promoting behaviors that are really going to make a difference once you understand this key piece of what are emotions and how do I manage them and how do I cope with them in a way that is far more productive and helpful than I've been doing it. So I want you to clear out today thoughts that have really not been helping you. I want you to name one thought that you have to stop thinking today and write it down. Write it down now. I want you to name one thought that you could maybe just let go of a little bit and say it to yourself a little bit less often. And I want you to find that one positive thought that you do say about yourself. I want you to say that one louder and every day, and maybe a second time every day. If you want to enjoy your holidays this season, I want you to think about these 7 ideas as a way for you to really connect with caring for yourself from the inside out, forgetting the appearance-based metrics, forgetting the appearance-based ideals. Care about yourself from the inside, care about your heart, care about your spirit, care about your connection with yourself. 1, give yourself permission to eat. 2, be grateful. You don't have to write in a journal, but just stop every so often and have a little moment to yourself and say, wow, I'm pretty grateful for my awesome brain who's gotten up today and who's challenged those negative thoughts. Align your actions with your values. Again, go back to that feeling. What's the benefit that you're going to get from this holiday? So make your actions aligned with the benefit that you truly do want. Setting that intention, sit down and spend some time setting the intention. What is it that you want to get? Who is it that you want to be at the end of this holiday? Normal eating, for anyone out there who struggles with their relationship with food, normal eating is fluid. It's an ebb and flow. Some days we eat in a way that our body feels great all day long. Other days we're going to eat too much. Some days we're going to eat too little. That's life. That's normal eating. Eat and let it go. Number 6, resist the restriction and the repenting and that I'm not good enough and I've blown it and I'm bad. Resist the temptation to restrict and then the temptation to have to tell yourself that I have to pay for it all when I come back. And if you've been practicing intuitive eating for a while, number 7, use this as a means to see how far have you come from diet culture and from rejecting diet culture. Oftentimes when we're away and our cortisol is reduced and we're feeling more calm and we're feeling more comfortable in ourselves and we're feeling more regulated, we can see really loudly how loud that diet culture is, and we can give ourselves a massive pat on the back and so say, I am so glad that I have opted out. I have managed my thoughts and I have left that culture behind me so that I can create a new reality for me and for those around me. So one new thought I want you to write down right now. This rewiring, this reprogramming your brain, this reframing. People say, how do I get consistent, Denise? You get consistent by managing your brain. And you do that by inputting new thoughts. You are just like your computer. You need to have new thoughts input in there. What happens is when we input those new thoughts, we don't automatically believe them. But over time, by consistently doing that, inputting the new thoughts and mixing it up with some compassion, your body begins to go, oh, I do believe it. And then you begin to see the evidence and, oh, actually, this thing is working. So I could think new thoughts. So I want you to write down right now, what new thought could you think more of? What have you heard today that you just want to think, okay, I'm going to think more of that thought? And that's the only recipe I'll ever give to anyone. Learn to think new thoughts, put a big dollop of compassion in on top of that, and then just watch the magic come in your life. If you need support while you're on holidays, here's a couple of things that I want you to remember. Ask someone you trust for support. So if you are changing your relationship with food and rejecting diet culture, ask somebody that you trust just to give you a little hand while you're away. Practice those intentional thoughts that we've just come up with. So that one thought that you want to think more of because you know it's going to bring more joy to your life, practice more of that. That one thought might giving myself permission to have 20% more fun is going to reduce my stress. Therefore, I am going to do this. That's an intentional thought. So practice those thoughts every day. When you're going to the buffet in the restaurant, you don't have to eat it all. You don't have to eat it all today. The food will be available tomorrow and it will be available to you for the rest of your life. Challenge your brain when it feels unsafe and when it feels scared, and remind yourself that you have the power. You have the power to resist and to deny the conditioning that you have grown up with and to change what you think. Remember your poolside snacks. Are they keeping you full for a number of hours? Yep, it's lovely to have the crisps and it's lovely to have the ice cream, but when you've been restricting, that's all your brain wants. So remember to put something in with those so that you know it's going to sustain you for a little bit more time and you don't end up finding yourself under eating, but maybe over full. Remember your worth. You're more than your body. Ask yourself this question honestly. Do I want to nourish myself or do I want to punish myself? Put some body healing affirmations in your phone. And remember, the only scales that you really need to focus on going on holidays are your hunger and happiness scales. So now, as you go away on your holidays this summer, what are you packing in your suitcase that you haven't thought of? What have I mentioned that you're thinking, yeah, I'm going to put that in my suitcase this year? I think the two things that I would love to see every woman and every man genuinely in this world put on their holidays is a little bit of confidence and a little bit of compassion and allow that baby grow. So that's it. That's me this week. How to eat intuitively and handle holidays with intuitive eating. And remember that we have this workshop coming up, myself and Nicola, where we're going to be talking about overcoming emotional eating, how you got there and how to get out. And I really, really cannot wait to bring so many tools and so much guidance to all the beautiful humans that are going to join us on that.